Hi chums, right. Number 48, two large Sarpo Mira, an old and a wee star. That means that, if you look at number 48 there, 48 Sarpo Mira, this old compost from last year that I've put nutrients into, and what else did I do with it? I'm just looking to turn it around, I can't read upside down. Yes, I put in, it's the old compost with spuds galore and blood, fish and bone, and my own Sarpo potatoes from last year. So, some people had said they were interested in seeing how this worked out, that with the old compost, and I remember saying Which Magazine, which is a consumer association here, they said that you can use your compost up to 3 times so long as you replenish the nutrients, because the commercial compost you buy is really only good for about 6 weeks and then you need to replenish it. This is why sometimes we re-sow seeds and in the old compost and they don't do very well. There's no nutrients left in them. So I've put nutrients into this, and this is last year's compost. So if this works out and we can use compost up to 3 times, that's going to be a huge saving, because I spend a lot of money on compost. I need my piggin. I don't know where it is. Oh no, what have I done with it? Right, no piggin, so we'll just use that boy there instead. Alright, it's a bit big, isn't it? Big flower pot or something. Oh, this is bad. Right, that'll do that. There's a tray. That'll do. Well, there's a couple already. Those are just a nice boiling size, like a bit like egg size. You know, they're a nice size. Now, I'm happy. I'm actually quite happy with this, and I've only started. So we were talking about the last time about hitchhiking and about some of my adventures doing that. I also had some adventures as a driver. So I want to give you a wee bit of an idea of what it's like from a driver's perspective. I'm not going to, for this first story, I'm going to have to be very vague about where it happened, you know, but let's put it like this. I was fishing somewhere in Ireland and had managed to get the tide, and a boat came in, a ferry boat came in from an island, and as I walked back up to the car as the people were all getting off the boat. The tide was turned at that stage, there's no more fishing, and this lady came up and said to me, "Are you heading towards the village?" And I says, "I am, yeah." And she said, "Would you mind if I asked you for a lift?" And I says, "Not at all, come on ahead, you're very welcome." So she got into the car. There's a lady I was probably about 30, I'm just thinking about 40 at the time. Yeah, about 30, 36, 40, she was around about the same age. So we headed off, and I discovered that she was heading to a particular place. Oh, look at that, a wee man, or a wee lady, look. And she was heading to a particular place about 4 miles from the village. So I said to her, "Look, I'll tell you what, I'm in no rush, because it's really early in the morning. My family are all still in bed in the caravan." This is about like 8 o'clock in the morning, 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. It's my family are all still in bed. So I'll tell you what, sure, I've nothing to do. I'll take you to this next part. I said, "That's dead on." And then she said to me, "Do you ever worry about the people that you give a lift to?" And I was thinking to myself, well, not until now anyway, you know. And I said, "Not really, you know, you tend to find that people are pretty good underneath it all." And she went, "Yes, but do you not think there could be people who could try to get a lift with you and fool you into thinking they're nice?" And I said, "Well, I'm sure there might be." She went, "Like, for instance, the people I work with are trying to kill me." And I went, right. What makes you think that?" "Well, I just know, because there's a lot of knives where I work, and I think people keep looking at them whenever I appear, and I'm just worried." And then she said to me, "Do you carry a knife?" And I went, "Oh Christ, here we go. She's going to pull a big knife out of her bag or something." And I went, "Well, I don't actually, because I've never needed one." She went, "Well, you should, you know." And I thought, oh Christ, here she goes. And she put her hand in her handbag, and I thought, here's a knife coming out. But she didn't. She took out a calling card for the business she worked for, and she said, "If you're ever passing by, come in and you can get something to eat." And I said, "That's no problem at all." So then I was kind of a bit uneasy at this stage because she went very quiet, and then she said again about, you know, you really do need a knife. And I said to her, have you got a knife? She went, oh yes. I went, right, do you ever need to use it? No, but it's there if you need it, you know. Now, that might not seem like much to the Americans or something, or a place where knife culture is part of the culture, with knives and guns and stuff, but knives are not part of our culture here, as like guns are not part of our culture. So when somebody gets in and starts talking, into your car and starts talking about them, and about telling you need one, and they've got one, it kind of freaks you out a wee bit, you know. So I can tell you what, I was never as glad in my life to find that I was at the place where she was going to. But because there was something definitely not 100% about that, you know, and I was a wee bit concerned. But that was probably the worst of all the lifts I've ever given anybody. Everyone else I've ever lifted has been really, really nice. They've been really pleasant, very appreciative, very polite, and they didn't rip my back seat with their rucksack or anything. So. But it's just that one made me feel uneasy. Just when somebody gets into your car and starts talking about knives and about people wanting to kill them and all the rest of it, I got a wee bit uneasy on that one. But anyway, I'm still here, as you can see. Then, after I let that lady out, I noticed that there were two guys standing in the same area. And I pulled up beside them and said, where are you going, lads? And they went, we're heading to the big town on the coast. And I went, she's only about 5 miles away, come on ahead. So I lifted them. I lifted them and headed into the big town. And I was heading back out again. It's about an 11-mile drive back to where I was going. And wasn't there another two guys standing on the way out again? Where are you going? We're heading out to the little place where I was. I said, come on ahead, sure, I'm going that direction myself. So I brought them out to where, now this is going to be significant for the next story. I brought them out to where they would get a better lift than where they wanted me to leave them. And I got them onto the road, which would be the best road for them to get the next lift. And, what do you call it? It worked out great. Turned the car, coming back into the village, a girl and a fella standing thumbing. I said, where are you going? They went, we're going to the big town again. I said, come on ahead. Because it was still only about 9 o'clock or 9:30 at this stage. Come on ahead. So I did about another 5 runs up and down the road. It cost me a fortune in petrol, but I had a really good time. But there's another guilty session for, look at that there, that's pretty good, isn't it? There's another guilt session for me. I lifted 2 guys from Australia, and they had this little radio with them, and it was only that size, and it was all covered up with sellotape and bits of packing tape and stuff. And I went, that's a real good radio they have. I said, wait till I tell you, only for that radio would be lost, because that keeps us right with the weather, the news, everything, and where things are on and everything. So it means if we lost that, we'd lose our lifeline. I said, that's no problem. So he threw their bags into the boot of the car, the trunk of the car. I brought them out to where they went, dropped them off, came back to the campsite, opened the boot, and there was a radio sitting in the boot. So it flew back down the road again. They were gone. So I still had the radio that they were so dependent on. I felt a bit shitty about that, but it was nobody's fault. The crack was good, and we were carrying on and laughing and stuff, and they just forgot to take it out of the car, you know, and I forgot to tell them. So that was a bit unfortunate for them, but that was that. On the next video, I'm going to tell you about what the driver's perspective of giving people lifts. Okay, I'm going to weigh this now. So we'll need to turn the machine around here. So these are Sarpo Mira. I'm very pleased with these actually. I'm not just pleased with them. I'm not just pleased with them because I got so many, but I'm also pleased with the quality as well. I think that's just there, isn't it? Right. What do we see now? Oh, go around this side and hello. So I don't know what we're on here. We're on kilos. Pounds, I think that's pounds there. Right, here we go. I'm going to go for 7.5, 8 pounds. I'm going to go for 8 pounds, which will be very good. 7.7 pounds, that's about 3 kilos, about 3.1, 3.2 kilos, I think. 3.5 kilos, so I'm really, really happy with that. And that is from old compost that I used last year for growing potatoes that I just amended with new stuff. And I'm going to use this compost again. I'm going to use it for 3 years and see what happens. So I'm very pleased with that. So there you go now. So I'll just scoot across here in front of you. So as I say, that's happy enough for that there. And I'll get this next lot ready, okay? So all the best now. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.